What is going on, Florida State family? Seminole Nation and the 863 tribe. I decided to do a Wednesday episode since I fly out tomorrow. I figured why not? There's a little bit to talk about. So why not hit it up and see what the people got going on here today? Nothing too special today, but I'm sure, like always, we'll come up with something to talk about. FSU's offering they're offering some recruits out there in Louisiana. There's rumblings of Coach Yak being the next wide receiver coach. There's rumblings of a certain DB coach going to be a defensive coordinator. So I'll give my input on that. Obviously, the transfer portal, still the transfer portal. And we'll talk about some of those potential targets. But ultimately, what I want to get to today, we're going into year 3 of Mike Norvell. And I know this is a very early episode of this. And the roster is not complete. We have no idea where this thing is going to end up at. But as of right now, as of December 2021, we're going to look. And going into year 3, we're going to look at the players who either they get it done or it's time. The time is over. The time has run out. But we're going to get to that and so much more. Episode 44 of The Hangover, folks. Let go.
These are on in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
Is your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the Got Damn Truth. A happy holidays, a Merry Christmas to all. It's about that time of the year. So we're going to get one last episode in before Christmas. I figure why not? I'm still home. And again, I fly out tomorrow, so I figured I'm here. I'm hydrating, by the way, water. But I figure I'm here. And, there's some stuff. So why not talk about it? And before we get started, like we always do, let's hit this roll call up. So hit that comment section if you want to make this roll call. 32 people in here. Hit the like button. As always, like, subscribe, and, of course, share it. Sharing it's the biggest way to continue to grow the channel. And hitting that like button. Mr. Wolf Strange, Irv Gatti, Zoe Nicholas, Chris Robinson, T2Y Boxing, Monster, Panama Jack, Panther Fan, Jeff, Jay Adams, Island Boy, Tyler, Dupree, EMG, Terrence, Brandy, Dan Squatch, FSU Tony, Damian Adams, Hypnotic, Priscilla, Florida State Love, Yella, Jose, Blackshear, Anthony, Kilo, and Brandon B in the building on this fine Wednesday, December 22nd, episode 44. And there's not Randy Yates, Firewater, Brandon Brazier, Caveman. All right, y'all checking in. So there's not a ton of stuff to really go over, but I know there are things that people want to talk about, and mainly, I mean, I really haven't given my thoughts on Pittman. So we'll talk about Micah Pittman. Obviously, we ended up landing him, which is a good get. I think I'll start. Why not? Let's start the show off with Pittman, because I've seen some mixed reactions to Pittman and his commitment and how people really feel. Uh, I think if you're expecting Micah Pittman to come in and be wide receiver number one, you might be setting yourself up for a disappointment. However, that does not mean he's a bad get nor a bad take. I don't get this. I don't get this. I don't get this feeling or this. I don't understand the reaction of this wasn't a good take. I don't understand that. I don't know where people are coming from with that. Um, I agree with Terrence. I was just about to say. I think people got to. I think wide receiver one is on the roster. I think 6'5", 200 plus is on the roster. Okay, that doesn't mean Pittman isn't a good 2 or 3. Plus, I don't think they're done in the portal. I think they will add at least one more wide receiver. Pittman brings. I watched him. I watched what he did and how he was used at Oregon, and I mean, I think the truth is what I said previously. I think he is a Ja'Kai Douglas-esque player. I think Pittman might just be further along, but I think him and Ja'Kai do a lot of the same things. Now, they didn't use Ja'Kai Douglas for whatever reason, and we'll get into some of that a little later when we talk about players that need to show up in year 3. But Ja'Kai Douglas went from Notre Dame game making a huge play to we didn't see him for 6-7 games. Like, seriously. Is that more so on the player or is that on the staff? Who knows? Pittman, I think, is very similar. I think he's a little bit further along. Pittman is also, I think, much more reliable in the special team game. Whereas where I feel like that's where his effect is really going to be noticed. I think really in that punt return game, I don't remember the last time we had a good punt returner. And I don't know if they'll put him on kick returns or not, but at a minimum, the punt return game. And then, the way they can use him, because Oregon, they lined him up in the backfield, put him out in the slot. Oregon did a lot of similar things that I've seen them try to do with Ja'Kai. Is Pittman more experienced, more well-versed with maybe not this playbook, but we'll see. Right? We'll see how that goes. I think Pittman is a good get. I think he definitely raises the bar in that receiving room. If Pittman's my number 2, I'll take it. Pittman 2, Ontario 1. Please, not Ontario 1. Pittman 2, Ontario maybe 3. Maybe you can switch those guys out. Yeah, Ja'Kai Douglas in there. McLean's got to be the guy McLean has to be number 1. That's what I'll say. If you're expecting Micah Pittman to be the number 1 receiver, I think that is where your disappointment will lie. I don't think he's our number 1. Don't think he's our number 1, but he's definitely a talented player who he felt like he was misused at Oregon. And so we'll see if we're able to use him in the proper way. So that's really my take on Pittman. Good get. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's, we're not going to sit here and pretend like we just got Randy Moss in the portal. But you got a good kid. You got a guy that adds to that wide receiver room. A wide receiver room, that has been lackluster. Let's get to the comments and see what y'all think about Pittman, and then we'll move on. Hurt Kilo says my favorite. No, what's going on? Appreciate that, Kilo. Happy holidays, Randy. What you think about the quarterback coach? I know nothing about him. I don't have any thoughts on him. This time next year, I'll have a bunch of thoughts. This time next year, I'll know, can he recruit? Can he develop the players? I don't think he'll have any hand in play calling, so we won't really get a feel for that. But I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's a good or a bad hire. We'll see. We'll see. Brandon thinks Pittman's going to be the best wide receiver in the room. I already talked about that one. I heard the comp on Pittman is a rich man Ja'Kai. That was what I said about a show or two ago. I thought Pittman and Ja'Kai were very similar players. We can't be picky, so we'll take him. Agreed with McLean. Pittman was a good take to most folks until Dilly left. Based on the wide receiver play, anything is a good take. I seen in a no production video of him attacking the ball in the punt return game, which is good. Need to get him open. He can run clean routes and catch the ball. I'm legit excited about some of these kids year 3. So we're gonna talk about that, dance guys. We're gonna get into year 3 of some of these kids that basically you got to get with it, or basically what we're gonna talk about when we get to that portion is if you don't see anything from some of these guys in year 3, I don't think you're ever going to see anything from some of these guys. Terrence thinks Sam needs to be returning kicks. I think Sam will be on kick return for sure. I think we're looking at a wide receiver from UTEP. McLean got to step up. I mean, McLean was a true freshman last year. And it's not like our quarterback situation was conducive to a wide receivers being consistent either. We'll talk about all of that. Hopefully, I think Jordan Watkins committed to somewhere already, man. So I think, Joe, you can forget about him. If I'm not mistaken, he committed somewhere already, like yesterday or the day before that. Miles Banks. Who is Miles Banks? Tell the kids to come on vacation and play for the Gator Bowl. Just blame Ron for Douglas disappearing act, since that's all y'all want to do anyway. Blame the coaches for everything. I'm not blaming necessarily Ron, but I mean, who would you blame for not playing them? Okay, he picked Ole Miss. Yeah, I knew he picked somewhere. I do blame Ron for Ja'Kai. Ja'Kai is underrated. I agree with you. I pay Pittman a good number 2 or 3 and definitely need him on special teams. You think Coach Att going to have that balls to give it to Dugans, unlike Dilly? Mario, the word going on right now is that they don't think Dugans will. A lot of people don't expect people. Of course, you're insiders. Every video I give this disclaimer. I am not an insider. Everything you get from me is 100% opinionated. I'm just a light-skinned dude on YouTube. With that said, people connected to the program don't believe Dugans will be back. They do think Odell will be back, though. So take from that what you will. Brandon says he thinks he's good. Belief Beats, how you doing? Pittman can make plays for us. Do we know who will be our backup QB right now? Unless they get someone in the portal, it's Tate Rodemaker. Burrell, I think Burrell will be ready for the spring. All right, so yeah, hit that like button. Jordan. All right, so I just wanted to go. Okay, the UTEP receiver is Miles Banks. Got it. What's up, BB? How you doing? Yes, they do, but they expect Odell to kind of. I told y'all before. I think Odell's kind of on a year-by-year basis. Basically, the talk around FSU is they will not force Odell out. Odell will be here as long as he wants to be here. I think if Dugans is coaching in the spring, I think there's a problem. I've talked about that before. So somebody said the UTEP receiver is Jacob Cohen. But Terrence said Miles Banks was a UTEP receiver. Yeah, I don't know who you guys. I don't know who. I don't pay attention to half of these guys in the portal, man. Dan says we need Isaiah Thomas on offense. I think we don't have any frames that move like that in the wide receiver room. Malik probably has that same long speed, but he can't go side to side like Thomas. I get the culture, but we got to stop sitting guys for multiple games because they didn't have the right attitude. If you're good, you got to play. hope they play McCall at safety and not corner. And Jacob Coing had a 1,000-yard season and 7 TDs this season. All right. So Pittman is the newest addition to the Florida State family. I think Florida State has actually been pretty good with who they've got in the portal so far. So I think, and I think they're not rushing, and they shouldn't rush, in my opinion. Here's a interesting, and maybe somebody in a comment has the answer to this question. Can we only take 7 portal guys regardless? Because this is going to lead into the next topic. Or, because I know the rule is 25 plus 7, meaning you can take a max number of 25 high school kids and 7 scholarships, and 7 transfer portal guys. If I'm not mistaken, your grad transfer guys are all but unlimited, meaning, they're a grad transfer. You can take as many as those as you want. Your any portal player that has multiple years of eligibility, you can only take 7 on top of 25 high school players. Now, if you don't use all 25, does that add more to your transfers? That would be my question. And the reason I asked that is that it's leading into one of the recent offers Florida State just put out there. And I'll be honest with you, man, I didn't even remember the dude's name. He's currently committed. Matter of fact, we'll look him up real quick because I know he's currently committed to Louisiana. And I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like you're looking at a desperate move. Hold on. I'm laughing at my son in the back, guys. He's hilarious. Okay, so you guys already in the comments. I'm not looking at the comments, but you guys will probably already know who I'm talking about. Wide receiver. He's not even the highest rated receiver they got committed. At least I don't think so. Anyway, Charles Robertson. FSU offered Charles Robertson, a 6'1", 172-pound wide receiver who did not sign on early signing period. I believe they even have a visit set for him come January. So they're making a late push for this young man. I don't even see a highlight tape on his profile, so I can't watch him to see. He might have a huddle. Didn't waste my time kind of looking it up. 1,593rd player ranked nationally. So he's the top 2,000 guy in the nation for whatever that's worth. He's the 205th wide receiver, and he's the 56th player in the state of Louisiana. Look, let's just get to the meat of it, man. The reason I asked that question before is, if you're telling me that they have to, that right now FSU has 16 guys, if you're telling me that they can't transfer whoever, so that would be 9 scholarships remaining for high school. If FSU can't transfer those 9 to the portal, well, it doesn't make sense to eat them, right? So in that case, I can understand you throwing some scholarships out there. Maybe you're trying to hit on a 3-star, a low guy. There's always potential of finding a gem. Obviously, you got to have the mindset that a guy like Charles Robertson, if we're keeping it a buck, he's not going to contribute anytime soon. Is it possible that he's super underrated? Look, it's possible. Anything's possible. I think the fact that this is happening shows that the wide receiver recruiting is a complete shit show. And excuse my French, but man, that is atrocious if you look at what they've done in receiver wise. The fact that there just wasn't more guys on the board is absolutely ridiculous, in that we're trying to pull a Louisiana commit. It's embarrassing, if you want to be completely and 100% honest. And I don't mean this as the way to disrespect the young man. I don't know how good of a football player he is. But there's a reason he's ranked where he's ranked in the state of Louisiana. if you can't eat, if you can't transfer what you don't sign to the portal, then I guess in a way it doesn't make sense to eat that scholarship. So you might as well throw it out there and, cast that line out there and see if you can land something big. Like, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. I believe Coach Yak did make this offer. But look, guys, that's trying to put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound right now with that. I don't know everybody. I know we tend to be a little bit optimistic and be like, oh, this guy's actually really good. He's not really the 1,000th ranked player in the nation. He should be the 10th ranked. Like we tend to do that. But let's be real about this one. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real about some of the ones I've said in the past, your Eubanks and some of these guys. And look, I hope all those guys prove me wrong. If we end up getting this young man, hey, I hope he comes in and he shuts me up. I just have no choice but to speak my truth and how I honestly feel. That we should be doing a lot better. You mean to tell me we got to go all the way to Louisiana to find the 1,000th ranked, the 1,500th ranked player in the nation? We ain't got a uncommitted kid here in Florida that we can't throw that scholarship at. So stuff like that, I have questions for. There are stuff like that. It does baffle me. It does baffle me. It's one of the recent offers that they've thrown out there. Firewater says, Polk, have you heard anything about Coach Yak moving to? I have. And I have. That as of right now, according to the 247 guys, that seems to be the plan here. They're going to move Yak to receiver. They'll go somewhere else and find a running back coach, whoever that may be. As of right now, it looks like Dugans is out, but we'll wait and see there. We'll wait and see there. Heard any on an FSU space that might happen. Maybe that's why we're offering. And I get it. That's why you're offering a Louisiana kid, but you can't find that scholarship. He's one. Let me go back now. I want to be accurate. He is ranked 1,593 player in the entire nation. I have a hunch. Haven't looked this up, so I don't know if I'm accurate, but I just have a feeling if I went and looked up Florida wide receivers, I could probably find a handful of them uncommitted right now that's ranked higher than this young man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The first 25 can be comprised, of any combination of high school and transfer, but you can't take more than 25 high school guys. Tracking that one. If you qualify for the 7 extra guys because you lost 7 to the portal, then you can take 32 total. So from what you just put, if I'm comprehending this correctly, we don't have to dish out bogus scholarships to high school kids. Basically, if we don't use them, we could use them in the portal. Yak should be let go with Dugans. Yak is not the answer. What's up, Ben? Hey, don't worry, Justin. Yeah, we know that ain't happening. My question: why hasn't Napier brought him to Florida? That's actually a great question. Is the reason he didn't commit to the Raging Cajuns because Napier wants to bring him to Florida? Maybe I might feel a little better if you told me Napier wanted to bring that kid with him to Florida. Maybe I'd feel a little better. Meanwhile, our guys are on Twitter going back and forth. Miami guys. I won't criticize it too much, though, because their Miami players are talking trash. Florida State players are talking trash. So let them boys talk trash. I'd much rather the players talk trash with each other because they actually got to get on the field and play. I hate seeing fans tweet players. I think that is the corniest crap in the world. I honestly do. But players doing it to each other, hey, they're players. So not only do they gonna talk, they crap on Twitter, but at the end of the day, they got to line up too. So I'm cool with the players getting into it. I think players and fans is corny though. Dustin Hill coming. Okay, we'll see. Staff trash. We were at 80 to 81 last, I heard, for total scholarships, but we're going to see more, or definitely going to see more attrition for sure. Man, I don't feel good about this. Seems like there's no plan in recruiting right now. I thought Norvell was super buttoned up and organized staff. I think the wide receiving recruiting has definitely been a miss. I don't know if you can say that it's unorganized. You signed the 13th ranked. Like, let's not jump all over the place. Your wide receiver recruiting, bad. Your linebacker recruiting, bad. Everywhere else has been fairly good, if not really good. So, let's be fair. Let's be fair. I'm actually very excited for Burrell myself. I think Anderson deserves one, but to be fair, if he's willing to come without one, why rush to give him one? I mean, if you're going to get a legit 4-star blue chip player to come on campus without using a scholarship, why wouldn't you? And he damn near tweets I think in a lot of ways, I think he's happy. He tweets every day with Florida State stuff. So Anderson seems content. Maybe they, you don't know what that conversation was, what they're promising him in the future, whatever. But if you can bring that without a scholarship, I think that's a good move. Why would a 5-star legit wide receiver playmaker want to block for Jordan Travis? To be honest, I don't think they knew what to do with Chakai, wideout, or running back, just like they don't know what to do with a lot of kids. Whiffing is one thing, but not having backup options is ridiculous. Say it again. Say it again. Rankings aren't everything, but damn. Rankings aren't everything, but we can't pretend like, like everybody's saying, but damn. Rankings aren't everything, and you can find gems all over the place. But damn. The staff is trash outside of Atkins and Woodson. POLK, Dustin Hill is real because I went on YouTube last night and saw highlights. Shout out to Dustin Hill. Why do we keep saying 5-star receivers don't want to come here to block for JT, but they go to Georgia and block with no issues? Tell them, Zoe. Tell them, Zoe. No real wide receiver wants to come here and learn how to block and only run deep routes because Jordan can't throw with accuracy or read a defense. Wow, man. I just looked up positions. There's maybe a handful of unsigned wide receivers in the top 300. There's an unsigned 4-star committed to Georgia Tech. That mess doesn't matter. Wake Forest, Louisville, NC State, etc. Carve us up with lesser talent at receiver. Okay, Marcus says the rankings don't matter. All that good Will Norvell and staff earned last offseason with Midnight Madness and all these extra camps they are running. Still nothing at backer or receiver. Did we even bring wide receiver recruits in? Seemed all offensive line. King Max says, on paper, the class looks good. Lack of playmakers, 2022 is looking rough unless they strike gold again in the portal with another Jermaine and Kier. What's next, man? What's next? Currently, 5 4-stars or better wide receivers unsigned, one of which is Coleman, LOL, who I feel been long gone. Ron hasn't been making attempts at receivers for months. I'm not putting all the blame on Dugans. It's the offense Norvell is running. As JT, the primary runner, is a running offense. Legit wide receivers see that and are not throwing the ball. It's a big issue. Rankings aren't everything. Tell that to Bama, Georgia, Michigan, etc. The last time I checked, they're all in the playoffs. Some of y'all takes on JT is complete trash. If you can't see the progress he's made, you just totally hate him. And why is everyone sleeping on Pat? Okay. Caught up in the comments. Everybody, keep putting your opinions out there, y'all. So some of them are very interesting. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I don't. It's okay. I find it funny. Just to speak on Jordan Travis for a second. I was anti-Jordan Travis. And I felt like a lot of people who are now anti-Jordan Travis were pro-Jordan Travis when I was anti-Jordan Travis. Now that I feel like I'm seeing, I felt like Jordan Travis closed the season extremely strong. I feel like the last 4 or 5 games for him are completely different than what he was all of last year and then leading up to that. But I think maybe people are just sick of Jordan Travis. I don't know. But I see a lot of growth in Jordan Travis. So me personally, I am excited. Don't get me wrong. I would love to, if you could upgrade. If you could upgrade, I'm all for it. But I'm excited to see where he goes. I'm excited to see where he goes. So that's just my opinion. I feel like I argued with the same people during the season that I was tired of Jordan Travis, and now I feel like we're arguing with the same people who are now anti-Jordan Travis. So maybe we're just sick of the inconsistency at quarterback. But that has a lot to do with coaching, honestly. I've said this a million times. You can have a lot of problems, issues with Mike and what he's done. I think Mike's done good. I think Mike has done some bad. He's done some good. The biggest indictment on Mike Norvell is flat out his mishandling of the quarterback position for 2 years straight. There's no excuse for it. There's no other way around it. You can be mad at recruiting, which has actually been pretty solid. Whatever. Pick whatever you don't like. You don't have to like Willis. You can like that. The biggest indictment on Mike Norvell is how he's handled quarterback 2 years in a row. The facts are he can't go into year 3. We cannot go into year 3 wondering who the hell the quarterback is again. So either you put all your eggs in Jordan Travis. Now that doesn't mean you don't have a backup. So you have to go out there, see if you can convince a portal guy to come on and have a chance if Travis was to go down. But I don't think, man, you can go into year 3 again with no clear answer at quarterback, whether that's Travis or whatever. So it is what it is at this point. That is that's, in my opinion, the biggest indictment on Mike Norvell. Now, Charles, Coach Woodson, DB coach, is being rumored to be a potential defensive coordinator candidate, I believe, for Memphis. And a lot of people were kind of up in arms about it. And they felt, I don't know. I think people are, however they feel like that's a big hit. And I think it's not it's a loss, but I might be in the minority here about Woodson. I like what he can do recruiting wise. I think he's been very solid recruiting wise, but I also feel like I don't feel like Woodson isn't irreplaceable, unlike Coach Atkins, in my opinion. So for me, even if he does leave, I am not sitting here like the sky's falling about Coach Woodson, to be quite honest with you. I don't know everybody else's take on that. By the way, 111 in here, guys. Hit the like button. But I'm not sure about everybody else's take on that. I kind of agree with Dupree right here. I think DBs are going to come to Florida State regardless because they always have. I think that has been the one constant, even in this treacherous time that we've been in for the last, 4 or 5 years. They still recruit DBs like it's, and that's with whoever the DB coach is. Hell, Willie was able to recruit DBs, and he didn't even have a legit DB coach. So, I like Woodson. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have him than not. But if I can be honest with you, I do not feel like Woodson is a drastic loss, or that we're going to be sitting here like, oh my God, the sky is falling. That's not my opinion. But Woodson, as more news, Woodson is potentially being looked at by Memphis, I think, for a defensive coordinator position. It's a It's a loss you can recover from. You think he's a good coach, he can recruit, but who made a big leap under him? I think you can definitely recover from it. So much success in football is off season development, body construction. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Dan Squatch. If that's the case, then we may win 6 or 7 games with no one to push JT at QB, and Norvell will be gone. Coach Shannon is the linebacker coach, and co-DC. The only coach I wouldn't want to leave is Atkins. Everybody else is replaceable. We can want Yak to go, but his running backs can catch. If FSU's has another dismal record, we'll see what happens to Norvell. Let's remember, it was TJ Rushing, not Woodson, that was Mike's original choice at that coaching position. That is true. He brought Rushing with him from Memphis, and Rushing eventually went to A&M, and I think Rushing got replaced by Crow. I think Crow's over there as the DB coach right now. I don't even know if Rushing's still over there or not. Jalen asks if we were to offer. I don't think so. I think kids are on vacation across the country to try to bring everybody back and try to squeeze some practices in. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Odell's on his way out. Jason Taylor, I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Big name, right? Yes, I do. That doesn't mean he's going to get fired, but I think year 3 is going to be the year that people are going to sit back and they're really going to dissect. I think whatever excuses he may have had year 1 and 2, I don't think those fly in year 3. So when you say his job is on the line, does that mean there's a chance he gets fired next year or after next year? I won't say 100% sure on that unless if he comes out there next year and they're a 3-win team, then yeah, I think he's done. Mike Alford there's no way he could justify keeping him. Everybody likes Alford right now, but I'm telling you right now, if Alford isn't really willing to pull the trigger on some of the moves that might need to be made, people are going to turn on him very quick. But this seat may very well get hot next year. Hey, Polk, I remember when Norvell was trying to replace TJ Rushing. Norvell was hired the former. Al Harris was a candidate. It'd be interesting to see who would be the candidates for Mike if Coach Woodson was to leave. But I do remember Al Harris as a potential candidate, Rashad. I'm with you there. He's with the Cowboys now. Okay. And just reading up on the comments. Priscilla says ever since Jimbo left, FSU fans panic every time a coach. Well, the funny thing about FSU fans again is they're fickle as hell. The same FSU fans that will cry about Woodson leaving. Hold on, y'all. The same FSU fans that will cry about a coach being trash. If he like FSU fans didn't like Dillingham. Then Dillingham goes to Oregon. And now it's, oh my God, the sky's falling. You know what I mean? So they're fickle as hell, man. They're fickle as hell. Dennis says, did FSU make a bowl game this year? Asking for a friend. Did Miami beat Florida State this year? I'm not asking for a friend. I'm asking for myself. No, I don't remember. Did Miami beat Florida State this year? For a team that lost to another team, man, y'all got a lot of stuff to say. I hope your Cuban Jesus really is your savior. But what I really think is going to happen is, we're going to be right back where we're going to be right back next year talking about the same stuff with Miami. But anyway, not going to spend too much time on that foolishness. What's good, Norville Central? How you doing? Dillingham's about to ruin Bo Nix's career. Is Bo Nix's career not already? I mean, what was he anyway? If we're being honest, seriously. Real talk. What is he really talking about? Stop with the big name coaches. Pittsburgh won the ACC. Can anyone name a coach on their team? Miami being real loud for a team. Yeah, I've talked about that. So let's get to the pick another shirt. I'm trying to think. There's no more news that I can think of unless anybody else has something out there. Till Dog, he said with the $5 donation, appreciate you, man. He says I've been turning a lot of FSU fans out. I've been tuning a lot of FSU fans out lately. They want every coach here fired and want to hire every coach that gets fired somewhere else. Bingo.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my piggy bank.
Cuban Jesus, boy, that's what I'm gonna start calling them. 106, man. 106, hit that like button. How many likes we at? Marcus, right? How many likes we at? You got people, man, they come in here, they watch me, and they don't hit the like button. I don't understand it because I don't ask you to pay nothing. I don't ask you to pay for the damn subscription. 66 likes. Man, come on. 105 people in here, and I got 68 likes. At least get 90 likes. Come on, can we get to 90? Let's get to 90. Let's get to 90 likes. This boy's stupid. All right, so we don't have any more news. And I don't think we do. Let's get to what I kind of want to get the point of this. And I'm gonna pull this up. We're hitting year 3, man. And in year 3, we got. So I started the running joke, and I actually see this a lot on social media now. But don't forget, I'm the one who started saying that Dustin Hill, and I was obviously saying it as a joke. I've seen some people actually get offended by me saying this about Dustin Hill, but I'm the one who started saying that Dustin Hill wasn't a real person. And I've seen a lot of people using that on social media. And I've seen some people offended, like as if I'm being serious or something that I don't, oh my God, these people, so whatever. I seen comments of people talking about the fact that I said Dustin Hill wasn't a real person and how I am being insensitive. You don't know about this going on in these kids' real life. I get all of that. The truth is, I could have said a lot of worse things about, I could have put out a bunch of speculation and rumors about Dustin Hill not being here. And instead, what did I do? I said, oh, Dustin Hill's not real. So, and I bring that up to say, there's some guys on the roster who, guess what, y'all? We don't know if they're even real. We don't know if they're even real. And we're reaching that point. We are reaching that point to where it's about time to see who's on this roster that year 3, man. But if we don't get nothing from some of these young men, I don't think we ever will. I don't think we ever will. And I'm gonna start off with one of there's two names specifically that always come up in every chat. In every video, in every live stream, y'all ask about two names specifically. We're gonna start with this one. Of my candidates for year 3 is either put up or shut up or whenever. Now, granted, disclaimer, some of these players that we probably going to talk about today might not even make it to the final roster. Oh, it's very early even to really be having this conversation. Very early to even really be having this conversation because the portal has just gotten started. The portal has just gotten started. So, with that said, hold on a second. I saw something. Real quick. Let me block that. I don't know what that was, so I'm gonna block that. But yeah, the portal's just getting started. There would be more attrition for Florida State going forward. We know that. But the first big name that I'm gonna throw out there, well, yeah, the first name we're gonna throw out there is Demori Tate. The another myth, another legend. We think he's on the roster. I think I've seen him before. But year 3, class of 2020, and we haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him yet. Okay. I was looking up some other players, but we haven't seen anything from Demori Tate yet. If he can't crack the DB rotation by next year, if he's not, I know he didn't participate. If I'm not mistaken, injury, so he was limited in the spring. He didn't participate in the spring game. When do we see Demori Tate? Are we ever going to see Demori Tate? That's probably the biggest name on the roster that people, again, he's one of two. He's one of two that ask me, he's one of two that people bring up every single episode. What's up with Demori Tate? Has anybody seen Demori Tate? Are we ever going to see Demori Tate? Tate's got to be number one on the list. And let's be clear, I'm not going to say guys like Jordan Eubanks is legitimately a true freshman last year. We're in year 3, so I'm not talking about guys from last year. Some of those guys need time to develop. But in year 3, Demori Tate should be contributing in some shape, form, or fashion. The second guy on that list is Corey Wren. Yeah, that's the other guy that y'all ask about every single episode. When are we going to see Corey Wren? That speed's too electric to keep off the field. When are we... Bro, we don't see anything from Corey Wren this upcoming year. We're never going to see anything from Corey Wren. Corey Wren is probably that's the next player on my list right there. We're never going to see anything from Corey Wren if we don't see it this upcoming season. All that speed that we hear about is all a myth. It's all a legend. It ain't real until I see it on the field. And when I have seen him on the field, he don't look explosive to me. Track speed and football speed are two different things. Corey Wren does not look like a football player to me, and I've only said that from the jump. In year 3, has he finally developed the skill set? That's going to be a great question going forward. It's going to be a great question going forward. This guy that I'm about to mention is actually in year 4. Ronaldo Green. Now, I know he dealt with some injuries this past year. I know he dealt with a few injuries. But are we ever going to get anything out of Ronaldo Green? Now, he played a little bit more the year prior, but we didn't get him We didn't see him one lick this year. Even when he was healthy, he couldn't seem to crack the rotation. And he's in year 4. Ronaldo Green is one of the guys who I think you're probably going to see hit the portal here between now and the start of the season. Next person on that list, Jadarius Green McKnight. Now, they've moved Jadarius Green McKnight to this linebacker position that I'm actually very... He was recruited as a safety, by the way, in case you don't know who Jadarius Green McKnight is. He was a top 200 player. Safety, 5'11", 204 pounds out of Fort Myers. Blue chip prospect as a safety. We hasn't been able, and he's going into year 3. He ain't been able to crack nothing. Last year, they moved him to backing up Kalen DeLoach as a linebacker. I like the move to linebacker, especially if they feel like for whatever reason he can't quite play safety. I'm okay with the move. Are we going to see him next year? If we don't see him next year, we may not ever see Jadarius Green McKnight. We may not ever see him. Before we continue, let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Let's see what you're talking about. Tate's situation has been crazy. Injuries and academic issues. I'm tracking year 1. He was academically ineligible. I'm tracking. Year 2, which was what, this year, right? Injuries. But let me put it to you like this. How hurt? I don't know how hurt he is. They were putting Miko Dotson, man, and Jerry and Jones out there. Now, I don't know how hurt Tate is, but damn it, he got to be better option than those two guys. That's all I'm saying. If you couldn't stay healthy in year 1, academic issues year 1, and you can't stay healthy in year 2, by year 3, it doesn't bode well is the point. The point of what we're doing here is I'm not saying that I want these guys out the program in year 3. What I'm saying is look at trends. Just look at the history of football, the history of college football, especially in recent years, and with the portal being what it is now. If you're not making an impact on your team by year 3, most likely you're hitting the portal. So Demori Tate, if he ain't on the field after 3 years in the program, regardless of his situation and his circumstances, he's going to probably be in the portal. That's kind of the point here. We got a few players who it's either going, if we don't see him by year 3, there's probably a chance we never see him. Somebody, Corey Wren, his freshman year had academic issue. Okay, read that one. Someone says he played in the UMass game. Okay. Irv got it with the $5. Says, Pope, do you think we should get a QB in the portal that's better than JT or one less talented for depth and not to get JT upset? Before I answer that, man, appreciate you with the $5 donation, Irv.
Yeah, get more money, get more money.
So I like the way you worded it, because pretty much the way you worded it is the way they should attack it. You should not get this is my humble opinion, get a quarterback for 2 reasons. One, he's blatantly better. He's just blatantly better. There's one out there in the portal who you think is just flat out better than Jordan Travis, then yes, you go get him. And I know it sucks for Jordan Travis and his feelings and all of that stuff, but if I'm Mike Norvell, I'm trying to win games in year 3. So if I can find one that's blatantly better, that's what I'm doing. Come here. Open my door. Okay, close it. Man, kids. Where was that? Okay. Or like here's the thing. Don't get a quarterback. Again, you can't go into next year and we're doing this Mackenzie Milton, Jordan Travis thing again. We're doing this James Blackman thing again with Tate Rodemaker. Bro, no. Year 3, you need to go in and it's either all Jordan Travis or you found something better. Now, if you can get a portal guy for that depth, you absolutely do it. But that guy has to come in and understand, kind of be like a Alex Hornibrook. Or I don't think Hornibrook ever thought he was going to be the starter. He just was there for the depth, and when his number was called, he was going to try. If you can bring in a guy that's okay with understanding that as long as Travis is healthy, he's the starter, we'll give you an opportunity. If one arises, then fine. But to bring in someone who's equal with Travis, and now no, because you want your wide receivers to be on the same page with one quarter. A lot of FSU's problems have to do with the fact that they haven't known who their quarterback is for 2 years. I think a lot of that gets remedied if spring, you know who your quarterback is. Summer workouts, you know who your quarterback is. Going in the fall, you know who your quarterback is. That's my answer to that, Irv. I'm trying to catch up in the comments. See y'all going in on the comments. Let's get to the next guy though. So we left off with your Darius Green McKnights. Talked about Corey Wren. We talked about Ronaldo Green. I'm interested in talking about a couple of these receivers. Now, these receivers, though, we have seen Kentron Portier. We have seen Darian Williamson, but we haven't been happy with what we've seen with them. Well, we're going into year 3, and the crazy thing about it is the wide receiver room is wide open. It's not like they have been. It's not like it's been a lack of opportunity for those 2 wide receivers. I mean, I forgot all about. We'll talk. Hell, let's add Jordan Young into the mix. If we're being honest, let's talk about all 3 of those guys, because opportunities there for Jordan Young, for Portier, for Williamson. There's a ton of opportunities for these guys. Hell, I think. Hold on, I think I think Jordan Young. He's been here the longest. I think he was I think Jordan Young was class of 18. Yeah, he was in Willie Taggart's first class. And he was actually a borderline 4-star player. Are we ever going to get anything out of Jordan Young? Are we ever going to get anything out of Darian Williamson, a 6'3" wide receiver? We're talking about Jordan Young, 6'2". Kentron Portier, 6'3". Darian Williamson, 6'3". These guys have size. They have length. They've had opportunity. It's not like they've been buried on the depth chart. It's not like they've been buried on the depth chart. Are we going to get any consistency out of those players? So those 3 wide receivers are, for me, guys that you probably want to look out for. And by next year, if they're not contributing in some, major way, and I'm not saying they got to go out there and get 1,000 yards receiving, but can they be effective? Can they answer the bell when it's called 3rd and 6, 3rd and 12? Need a big catch. Can I count on you to make a contested catch? Because last year, we want to talk about Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis didn't drop them balls that Jordan Young. What game was that? Was that the Boston College game? That they threw Jordan Young out there one-on-one. Travis put it on the money, and he couldn't. You guys would know the game that I'm talking about. I don't quite remember the game, but y'all know the play I'm talking about. They had Jordan Travis one-on-one. The ball is right. Travis puts the ball right on the money. What about Darian Williamson? I think it was the NC State game. No, maybe it wasn't the NC State game. Yeah, it might have been the NC State game. It was a big conversion. Milton wasn't great, but Milton hit Williamson right in the hands, and he couldn't catch a contested ball. I mean, we saw Portier. I mean, when Purdy was here, how many balls did he drop in that game? I mean, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about because we've watched these receivers. And Dan Squash says Williamson looked good down the stretch. He actually got some yak. Here's my problem. The problem isn't look, at a minimum, these guys should be able to catch wide open passes in open space and be able to make a few yards. Williamson was able to do that. But one of the marks of a decent receiver is, I don't know, when a DB actually is in good coverage and you can still make a contested catch. You can fight off a DB and make a catch. You and the DB can get your hands on the ball at the same time and you muscle it out of there. We don't have receivers that can do that outside of one, maybe. And I give him a pass. He's a true freshman. He's still growing. But the Williamsons and the Portiers and the Jordan, man, these guys they've been here. If you ain't contributing in this upcoming year, I don't think they ever will. Appreciate Mike Merrick, man. He comes in here every day and says every episode and said Mike got us. So shout out to Mike. Mike loves some Mike. Was it the Miami game that? Yeah, maybe, again, you guys know what game I'm talking about when it was right there for Jordan Young and he couldn't get it, Jeff with the $5 says, I hope to God whoever that replaces Dugans needs to recruit and close on these players. Appreciate you, Jeff, with the $5.
My name is Jeff.
I like Nooney. Hell, we don't even have Naquan Murray wasn't the greatest. We don't even have anybody on his level, if we're being honest. We did get a wide receiver walk on. I don't know how they're walk on. So I'll be honest with you, Firewall. I don't feel any type of way about a walk on hitting the portal. Like, again, I don't know how common that is either, but I think because we're Florida State fans, we look at it, but I don't think anybody's looking at it. FSU has had talk about Joe. Don't talk about Terry, huh? That's Norville burner count. POLK don't like Terry. When did I ever say I didn't like Demori on Terry? Terrence, you just come in here telling blatant lies? I ain't never. Has anybody ever heard me talk about Terry in a negative fashion? Other than him not being good, like when they needed him to. But I ain't never talked about Terry like that. Other than the fact that he couldn't get himself drafted. Like, I mean, but those are things that, he did to himself. Appreciate that, Chad. I think so. We hope so, right? We hope so. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We don't have a receiver that can do that. We don't have a receiver that can make those catches. I know he was accused and something. I don't know whatever happened with that case or that trial or if that's still ongoing. I know he was involved with something like that, though. Auden Tate. I think Auden Tate's one of the more underrated guys that we've had in a long time. Okay, so let's go. He was charged. Yeah, he was charged with something, but I don't know whatever. I don't know what came of it. Let's get to the. Let's see. I'm going through the list here. I want to see who's the next guy that's gonna pop for me. There's a couple old linemen that I don't want to. You got Zayn Herring and Thomas Schrader. I'll be honest with you. I know Schrader had that leg injury that kind of limited him this past season. And Zayn Herring, I mean, I think year 3 would be the year because there's some young boys behind him that's going to be chomping at the bit. They're going to be looking to make a mark. But also with the depth there now, Zayn Herring may very well be a guy who's a rotation guy his entire career. Same thing with Thomas Schrader. We'll see there. Those are two offensive players, offensive linemen to look out. And of course, you got my favorite player in Lloyd Willis. It's all 6'7", 300 pounds of him. I don't know what happens with Lloyd. I think if Lloyd can't hit tackle, I think he can definitely move in the guard. When I've seen Lloyd Willis play, I've liked what I've seen from him. I don't know if he can play tackle full time. Don't know if he has the hips for it. I don't know if he has the lateral movement for it, the feet work, as they say. Don't know if he has the feet work for it. But I think at worst you can move Lloyd in the guard and have him be a huge guard for you. I think he could do one of those things. So I'm still not giving up on Lloyd. TJ Davis is a guy who you probably will never see play a snap. That's the next guy on this list, man. TJ Davis, outside linebacker out of Georgia, 6'3", 250. Unless they plan, and he was listed as outside linebacker. I think the facts are he's the D end now / D tackle. I've heard he's up to 280. Unless they're going to put some weight on TJ Davis and move him inside, or unless he's going to slim up. I don't know. I don't think you ever get anything out of him, man. I don't know if you ever get anything out of TJ Davis. I don't know if you ever get anything out of TJ. I'm catching up in the comments, you guys. Chad Kinsler was the 199, says, dopest FSU show for show. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I just do my best. I try over here. Appreciate that.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my piggy bank.
I do remember that play, Firewater. So maybe Odell working with him, coaching him hard. But is he ever going to really contribute at a big time? Probably not. Probably not. Zoe says, okay, so if we don't get a linebacker, who starts for us next fall? Deloach and Lundy? Do we get anything from McKnight? A lot of questions there. We don't know. I don't even know the name brand of this camera. It says Rebel Gaming on it. Next up is Markiston Douglas. They recruited this guy as a defensive end, moved him to tight end, and the man was all the way up to 280 pounds as a tight end. Only from what I heard, got himself back in the shape, maybe dropped 20 pounds. Look, I don't know what you're gonna get out of Marcus and Douglas. With what?
The books.
Okay, wait. Um. Yeah, Marcus and Douglas, man. I don't know what you're ever gonna get from that. I felt like maybe you should have just. He was up to 280. Put another 20 pounds on him and move him to guard or center. We don't need any more tight ends. The only thing, this is what I will say about Douglas, that we'll see. Jordan Wilson was, I think, better than people thought in the passing game. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that I think people thought that when he was in the game, they were using him more as a blocker. So he was able to sneak out up the seams at times. And that play up the seams for him became a consistent play for Jordan Travis and the quarterbacks to get him the ball. He caught a lot of those seam routes. Jordan Wilson, I'm talking about. Is Douglas a similar body style? That's the only, because I think going into next year, yes, you have Cam McDonald, who's your receiving threat, but this is why I always felt like they should line Cam McDonald on the outside, because no one sees him as a threat as a blocker. So when you line Cam McDonald on the field at tight end, they already keyed in on him. They already keyed in on him on the offensive side of the ball. At least get him out of a 3-point stand and stand him up like a wide receiver. You know, you eliminate that one phase of the game for him. Because again, no one's taking him as a true blocker. So that's what I would say there. Can Douglas contribute in a similar fashion to Jordan Wilson? That would be my thing. Give me 1 second, guys. I will be right back. All right, my bad, y'all. Dang on kids. I even forgot what I was talking about. So we're going to keep on moving with the list. I think we was talking about Marquise Douglas and whether or not he ever comes around to be anything. And as of right now, I would say no to Marqueston Douglas. Or Marqueston, however you pronounce that one. And then you got last year's class. Now, last year's class, I don't want to be too tough on because true freshmen. And frankly, some of those guys, I think, needed the year of development. But I do think that class is going to be pivotal next year. Positives about that class, Malik McClain played a lot of minutes. Omarion Cooper turned out to be legit DB. Maybe DB1. Kevin Knowles. I mean, 500th ranked, damn near 600th ranked player in the country. But turned out to be everything we needed him to be at that nickel spot. We expect him to get better, bigger, faster, stronger, right? Outside of those guys that I just named, none of these other guys really saw the field. What Hunter Washington? Can he take Jarvis Brownlee's spot? What's the deal with Hunter Washington? He was the highest rated guy you signed last year. Chambry Jackson, they were talking about moving him in the inside, the defensive tackle. Is he a tackle? Is he an end? Well, we'll see. Rod Orr, promising future. I think he mixes up very well with the guys they signed in this class. Patrick Payton, I think Patrick Payton is going to bold take here, guys. First big prediction of next year. I'll say this right now. First big prediction for me. By the end of next year, Patrick Payton will be starting at defensive end for Florida State. You heard it here first. George Wilson, another one. Similar build to Patrick Payton, 6'5", skinny. Thing about George Wilson was they have him listed at 6'5", 214. I heard that George Wilson came to Florida State less than 200 pounds. How big is he going to be next year? Don't know if we see George Wilson or not. But he's an athletic, lean, twitchy guy. If they can put the right type of muscle on him, I think George Wilson could be there. But I'm telling you right now, 6'5", Patrick Payton will be playing around 240 pounds next year. And by the end of the year, he'll be starting at defensive end. You heard it here first. Byron Turner suffered a little bit of an injury that ended his season, but I think he has a bright future. They haven't listed as a D lineman, but I think he's a defensive end. Burrell, I think, will have an opportunity to get in that wide receiver room. If you talk about guys not making contested catches, I think Burrell is one of the remedies for that. He ain't the fastest. He's not the twitchiest. But you talk about a guy that can just go up and get the football, big, strong hands. That's Joshua Burrell. I think Joshua Farmer will he's going to be one of the surprises. Farmer's going to sneak into that DB rotation, I think. And that, I said DB, defensive tackle rotation. And if Lovett comes back, it's already pretty deep. We saw Jarek Jackson have a good year. We saw Malcolm Ray finally have a good year. And of course, you got the two starters. I think Farmer's right there on the edge. And can he take some snaps from Malcolm Ray? Maybe he can. Jordan Eubanks, look, to be quite honest with you, I don't expect much. But the facts are the linebacker room needs them. They need them. The linebackers need them. If they can get anything out of Eubanks, I think that'd be a plus. And then you got Shaheen Brown at safety. Don't need to rush Shaheen, but if he can break into that rotation next year, that'd be a great thing too. Then you got Kobe Gross, and we're not going to waste any time on Kobe. So let me get to the comments. I'm going to get to the comments here. You move Dix to fullback like Jimbo did Freddie Stevenson and Chad Norvell is sick, a rookie coach. Well, FSU doesn't utilize a fullback, so not very many teams utilize a fullback anymore. So I mean, easier said than done. Bold prediction: if we don't take a portal transfer, Deloach and Brendan Gant are starting linebackers game 1. Deloach is definitely in there. We'll see though. I think Gant is going to make that. I think Gant is going to make that move though. We need more speed. We definitely need more speed at linebacker. There's a lot of players from last year that I think are going to be much better. Facts. Peyton will start. We want Daniel Martin. Well, probably going to give up on that. Burns wasn't nothing, but absolutely. Burns wasn't big either. I think Patrick Peyton is going to be, again, I don't know. You just heard it here first. That's all I'm going to say. You heard it here first. George Wilson is the size of a varsity high school player right now. He was very skinny. Got to get Coop, Lovett, and Briggs on the field. I forgot about Briggs. I think they're going to move Briggs back to defensive end. I think they're going to move Briggs back to DN, especially with the emergence of the D tackle room. How that room emerged once he went down. Remember, last year I didn't think we had anything at defensive tackle, to be honest with y'all. Y'all remember I thought we had 2 guys, and after that I thought it fell off a cliff. But Jarrett Jackson and Malcolm Ray really came out of nowhere. And because of that, I think you can move Briggs to defensive end. He's your run stuffer defensive end. Patrick Payton's going to be rushing off the edge. Briggs and Pate, that might be similar to Kier and Jermaine. I'm not saying Patrick Payton's Jermaine, nor am I saying I think Briggs can be closer to Kier Thomas, though. Obviously, I don't think I'm saying anything crazy if I say Dennis Briggs can be your Kier Thomas-esque type player. I don't think I'm crazy there when I say that. Briggs showed that last year before he got hurt. He was absolutely a beast last year before he got hurt. So, depending on how he comes back from that injury, a lot of positives to take from that. Burns is explosive, so his size doesn't matter as much. He's like 250 in the league now, so eventually had to gain weight. I think Patrick Payton, if you watch him though, he has that quick first step. What up, Corey or Kerry Watkins? My bad. Kurt Burrell be a poor man Bolden. That's kind of what people have said about him. Ray is better than Farmer and Jackson. Don't know if he's better than Farmer and Chambry. Who knows what we have there. But Ray's probably better than him right now, but I wouldn't sleep on Farmer. Yes, Big Country or Josh Griffiths. Yeah, he went over there to play at HBCU. That was interesting, to say the least. If Jackson West can get snaps this year. Hey, I forgot about Jackson West, Tyler. Did I even mention Jackson West? You're absolutely right, though. If Jackson West can't somehow find snaps in this tight end room, then he ain't. And that's the problem I have, man, with taking these damn project tight ends. We took 2 this year. Jackson West was considered very similar to your Brian Courtney's and Jarrell Powers, if we're being honest. Was not highly ranked guy. If Jackson West can't hit the field this year, again, we Cam McDonald or bust again. We still putting Preston Daniels out there at tight end. Come on, man. I don't know if Dix is gonna transfer or not, but there's a whole lot of off season left. More guys will hit the portal. Somebody said Travis Jay's a running back like Carlos Williams. What happened to the JUCO safety that we were recruiting? I think he signed with Auburn. If I forget his name, but if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, I think he signed with Auburn. Gant already put linebacker in his spot. Like I said, Gant tweeted about coming home and looking for a linebacker DB coach. When he tweeted that, I kind of figured he was making the move. So, and I've been calling for that move for 2 years. We'll see how it pans out. We'll see how it plays. Probably should have made the move 2 years ago when I originally called for it. But I've been calling for Gant to be a backer for a while. I still think Sidney Williams will be a start and Gant at linebacker is a win. I hate all these former 4-star players that don't play, or we're talking about switching positions. Those supposed to be top players. Well, it happens. We look at it in a microscope right now because the state of the program, right? And we're so thirsty for it to get better. But Jimbo was doing the same things. Your Xavier Rhodes were wide receivers who converted to DB. I mean, Terrell Lyons was a safety that converted to linebacker. Cam Irving, a defensive tackle that converted to offensive tackle. I'm just bringing because Jimbo had the thing humming, so I'm bringing up Jimbo for that reason to show that even on good teams, like that stuff happens. Carlos Williams, 5-star, one of the best athletes out of Central Florida, maybe in ever. Wasn't really a safety. So it happens, and it happens a lot more than we tend to think. If you guys remember a guy by the name of and I can't even freaking remember his name. Not Ronaldo Green. Oh man, I cannot remember this guy's name, but I believe his last name was Green. And they moved this kid from corner to running back, and he was a top 4-star kid coming out of high school. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys will remember who I'm talking about when I'm saying this. But again, this stuff isn't unheard of, and even good teams do this stuff all the time. Jimbo did it. Jimbo did this stuff all the time as well. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Ryan Green. His name was Ryan Green. Ryan Green. They moved that dude from corner to receiver to running back. Ryan Green, because he was just an athlete and he was a 4-star. So again, I know we look at it right now and we want to put it under a microscope and think it is what it is. It's such a negative, but these things have happened throughout the history. It just gets glossed over when Jimbo Fisher's running the show. But when Mike's running the show and Mike's not having Jimbo Fisher success, you take everything and you try to dissect it and analyze it and be like, oh, this ain't a good look. Hey, sometimes you got to move guys around and see where they fit. But Ryan Green, Dylan hit it. Dylan knew who I was trying to talk about. Ryan Green was that guy I was mentioning. And they moved that dude all over both sides of the ball. Georgio Newberry was another one. Man was a D tackle, D end, ended up finishing his career as a tight end at 6'6", 270 pounds. Georgio Newberry, if you guys remember that name. Again, Jimbo did it a lot. It's not something. This isn't something brand new. I'm just pointing that out. Sims is better than the 2 QBs Coach Mike Norvell took over him. We'll see. I think he's better than Rodemaker for sure. I can't say he's better than Purdy, but he's been more available than Purdy. But we'll see. They dropped the ball there with Purdy. Akeem Dent, the kid Hester will get a lot of playing time. Aaron Hester. Travis J needs to be used on offense. I think he needs to be used on offense too. At receiver. Seeing all that DT developments this past season showed me Odell's still working, but at the end of the day, you got to recruit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Daniel Lyons and I like Bishop Thomas. I honestly do. But you probably needed that third one. And Daniel Lyons and Bishop Thomas, though I like them, they were 3 stars for a reason. I think Bishop Thomas more so because he didn't play his senior year. But they were 3 stars for a reason. Tyree West was probably an instant impact kind of caliber of player, and you whiffed on that one. Odell hasn't had a problem landing the 3-star guys. The problem with Odell for the last 5 years is who's he landing that's elite? The last elite guy he landed was Marv. That's the last elite defensive tackle he landed was Marvin Wilson. Now before that, Jernigan, Goldman, we can go a list on and on. Jacoby McDaniel, we can go a list on and on about those guys. Nandi, DeMarcus Christmas, Everett. That's when he was in his bag. Then he was killing the game. Then since then, the biggest name he's landed is Marv. Take Marv out. The biggest name he's landed is. Yeah, exactly. Shaheen Brown was like ranked number 900. Here, actually, I got it right here. Shaheen Brown, 3-star, ranked 990. No, I don't think they have been passed up. I think they're gonna. I think Briggs will be one of the DNs at the start of the season. It'd be interesting to see is the other DN McClendon or Fuller. I think one of those two will start the season next year as a starter, and the other one will back up Briggs. And I think Peyton will overtake both of those guys by the end of the year, though. Just reading comments, y'all. Trying to catch up. Somebody said, what is the odds of Coleman coming to FSU? I don't know. 5%, I guess. And there is a rumor that he's already signed with Miami. He's just waiting for that announcement at the game or whatever. So, but, again, I told y'all a month ago about Coleman wasn't coming here. I agree with that. I tell you, I'll tell you right now, if Atkins, if this offense takes a major leap next year, FSU's gonna have to really drop a bag to keep Atkins. Atkins will be a head coach. I think 3 years is fast tracking it a little bit, but in the next 5 for sure. Atkins should do all the. I'm interested to see what Atkins does as recruiting as the OC. Because now he's going to be involved with some of these receivers, some of these running backs. So I'm interested to see how that is affected, to be honest with you. We don't need another. I agree. I don't think we need another quarterback competition. I think that's been that has a lot to do more so with the coaching for me than it does the players. Has Mike Norvell shown that he can that he can properly pick the right guy? Because he hasn't yet. I hear you. Competition breeds success. In most cases, you're right. You're absolutely right. But this, I need consistency. I need rhythm. I need cohesiveness, chemistry. I need my quarterbacks and receivers to be on the same page. They haven't been on the same page for 2 years because our damn staff haven't known who they wanted to play at quarterback. Again, that's the biggest indictment on Mike Norvell as an offensive head coach is his mishandling of FSU's quarterback position. Period. That is the biggest indictment on him. If you can't find a quarterback, you can't win games. Period. He needs to get a quarterback and stick to it. Now, if that's Travis, we're going to find out. Like I said, he either needs to take a guy who's blatantly better or get with Travis, put all your investment in that one. And the team believes in Travis, I believe. I think a lot of people are starting to believe in Travis. I think Travis turned the corner down the stretch. But at this point, I don't know, man. I think another quarterback competition going into this year. I don't think it does this offense. I don't think it does this team any I don't think it does this team any favors. That's just my opinion, though. Verse ain't a must get like some fans will have you believe. I think Verse would add some quality depth, but I'm not particularly high on Verse myself, so I don't necessarily disagree with you. And I said that the first time I saw him, that Verse was like you know. Verse is good, Keir Thomas clone. FSU too loyal to former players turned coaches. Are they? I don't know. I'm still waiting on this genius shit everyone said Mike was. I'm hoping first goes to my boys, but there's a lot of competition. SEC and Big Ten transfers only. Other than wide receiver, linebacker, we'll take anybody. Norvell worrying about feelings will be his undoing. We should get E.G. Green as receiver coach. Last year he was 5-3. The funny thing, and the facts are, Mike hasn't been able to win with a quarterback outside. Again, I'm not the biggest Jordan Travis fan, even though I think he showed me something. Again, I keep reiterating, I think he showed me something at the end of the year that has me believing, or at least very intrigued to see his growth. I'll be honest with you. But I have not been the biggest Jordan Travis fan over his tenure, and everybody knows this. But Mike ain't been able to win a game without him. So at what point does Mike say, you know what, this is just my guy? And we have to figure it out as a staff the best way to utilize him. If we think, like I think, this offensive line is gonna, I think you're gonna see the best offensive line Florida State has fielded since 2013. I'm not saying it's gonna be 2013 caliber, but I honestly believe next year you're gonna see the best offensive line Florida State has put on the field since 2013. So another bold take as of December 2021. Write it down. If we think that all O-line is going to be vastly improved like I do, maybe Travis can't expect Travis' game to take another step. Because he showed me a lot of things by the end of last year where he didn't look to run. He was actually looking down the field, making him, go watch the Boston College game, obviously the Miami game. The man played lights out in a lot of those games, passing the ball and not just taking off and not panicking in the pocket. That's where I think his game is improved. Absolutely, Dylan. I told you that's the biggest indictment on Mike Norvell. Whether you like him or hate him, you can't defend the way he's handled the quarterback situation in 2 years. I don't think you want to do that going into year 3, for whatever that's worth. remains to be seen. Dillingham left a lot to be seen. I'm going to be interested to see, does Mike take back over play calling? Or does he hand that responsibility off to Coach Atkins? I'll be interested to see how Atkins calls a game. And Marv, yeah, I don't think you lost nothing with Marv personally. I don't disagree with a lot of y'all's opinions, man. I don't think he can go in with Duffy year one. Again, this is where the Purdy thing. Purdy should have been year 3. Mike should have been starting Chuba Purdy. Year 3, Mike, like this should be Purdy's team. Obviously, he's gone, so that's never going to happen. Maybe so. Here's my thing about that. You're recruiting coordinators. This is my personal opinion, and those guys can have their own opinion. Your Kenyatta Watsons, your Ryan Bartos, they're not closing the deal on those guys. Like if you're counting on your recruiting coordinators to close the deal on those guys, you've already failed. So we're sitting here want to blame Ryan Bartow. The fact that you're even in the mix for some of those South Florida kids is because of Ryan Bartow. The fact that you're even in the mix for a Tyree West is because of Watson, Kenyatta Watson. The fact is your Odells, I don't know, your on-field coaching, position coaches, your Ron Dugans, they're supposed to go close those deals. You're in the room because of that. That's how recruiting works. You go recruit a kid from Louisiana. Well, you're in the room because of Coach Yak. But whatever position that young man plays for, that position coach needs to come close the deal. And then maybe your head coach puts the final nail in the coffin. But see, it's easy for your head coach to close the deal when you've got good recruiters under you. That's my take on that. But everybody has a different opinion. Duffy will be an early enrollee. Even with that, I don't expect him to play early, though. Hold on, guys. Somebody sent me a cash app for 10 bones, but I can't see who. It won't show me who sent it. Hold on. Like, I see $10. Okay, Stephen Davis, whoever you are. Payment from 904 Davis. All right, it's 904 Davis. Man, I always say y'all's government's on here, so my bad. I don't be seeing your messages till it's too late. 904 Davis, man, with the $10 donation, man. I appreciate you.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my piggy bank.
That's a good get for Pitt, especially after the guy they just had leave. I'm just catching up on the comments, y'all. Yeah, my bad, 904. I put your government out there. I always end up doing that. I love the way Chris Parsons locked down his recruitment and telling everyone he's a FSU lock. Anyone thinks there's a possibility he will pull a hey, we're not even going to go that route. Is Duffy even close to Travis in practice and picking up the playbook quick? I think you have to play him. Don't sit him like just because Travis is there and he's a freshman. Play him if he shows. We're going to see another YouTube video on the downfall of FSU and Norvell after this year, I feel. Even if it is a bad year, it really can't go any worse. Ultimately, if you decide to cut bait with Norvell, which I don't know if they will or not, then this next hire can't be in the same vein of Mike Norvell and Willie Taggart, right? I already told y'all, if Mike's done and he can't cut it and he don't get it done, Dave Aranda is my next head football coach. I think we need to go with a defensive guy. We've gone too many offensive guys. Get away from that. Let's get back to playing some dominant defense. Give me a dominant defensive coach, and we can build from that. Agreed, man. Everybody says what you want to hear a year out. Then on National Signing Day, pull a okie doke on you. New King coming in here acting like he cares to ask these questions. This freaking Miami fan. But how you doing, New King? But he says, if you're Tate, do you transfer or wait and wish for the best? I mean, if you're Tate, I don't think Tate was ever brought in here to be the future. He was always brought in here to be a solid backup. So if you're asking if you're Tate, it depends on what Tate feels of himself. Does Tate feel he can play? If he feels he can play, then he should leave. That shit crazy, man. It's killing it. Already on the trail, destroying it. Right. Anybody say anything about that 6'6" wide receiver? Hey, 6'6", go ahead and sign me up. Sign me up. Okay, we had a QB go to Ole Miss in Miami, and now those guys will hit the portal instead of staying at FSU. What QB did we have go to Miami? Y'all know who he's talking about there? Because I don't. Pittman way better than Parchment. I agree. No, I agree with that. I like Micah Pittman better than Parchment. Man, Parchment really left a sour taste. But I don't think I was lying about Travis Hunter and Brittany Renner because the time they were there matched up and were there to say, hey, man, might have happened. He's not perfect. He will never be, but he can be a pretty good if we give him more reps and stop doubting him. Are we set at running back? Do we have a starter on the roster? I like our running back room. I think Ward takes that next step. So that's me. Man, Garcia was never committed to us. Like, who was saying Garcia was never ours? What are we talking about, guys? What are we talking about? POLK, to be honest, everybody wants to transfer portal QB, but really, if this coaching staff was worth a damn, take bite now. Oh, you can't say that. That's not necessarily true. Everybody doesn't develop the same. I hear what you're saying, but let me put it to you like this. J.J. Constantino was a higher rated quarterback than Tate Rodemaker, and Jimbo couldn't get nothing out of him. And you're not going to question Jimbo's QB coaching ability, nor you're going to question that staff's ability on offense. So that, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to look at Tate Rodemaker and go, man, this staff sucks because they couldn't develop Tate Rodemaker. Jimbo couldn't develop J.J. Constantino, and Constantino was a 4-star coming out of high school. You feel me? So sometimes guys just ain't it. How do we vote? Man, I don't know. I don't know why they scared of a coach with a 62-60 record, but you know where I stand on that. Why does pre-Bama not count? Why does that not count? I don't know. That's crazy. 4-star. Julian Armella said he's here to help. Of course he is. What else is he supposed to say? Todd with $5, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, more money. Yeah, more money. Yeah.
I think we tripping on the Urban Meyer stuff. We still want to talk about that, but I get why we would sell our soul for Urban. I get it. We just want to win. I got you. I don't know if Mike should put all his chips on Jordan Travis or not, but he needs to have a quarterback that he puts all his chips on. But we'll see. Okay, well, good for Dugans. We'll see. JJ was flat out trash, bro. But I mean, you can go check your recruiting rankings. They thought they had something there. Does P-Dub even coach? Look, I'm all for bringing in players, but do they have, I think we're starting to sound like Miami fans, guys. We got to stop this. We have to stop talking about bringing in Peter Warrick and all these guys. Does Peter Warrick, like Miami guys have been saying for years, Ray Lewis should be the next. Look, man, I don't know if Peter Warrick even coaches. And to be honest with you, yes, I'm a Peter Warrick fan. These kids today don't know Peter Warrick, because if you don't believe me, they do polls on Facebook and Twitter all the time asking who's the most electric college football player you've ever watched. Peter Warrick don't even be listed on these lists. The sad part is he's better than half of the people they list on those lists. And that's a fact. To this day, he probably still is the best college player that I've seen that's not a quarterback. That's not a quarterback, and of course I'm biased, but Peter Warrick doesn't, Marvin Jones doesn't, Derek Brooks doesn't. Let's be honest, these kids don't know these names anymore. Same thing I tell these Miami fans. Nobody gives a damn about Michael Irvin or Warren Sapp or none of these guys. They don't know these guys. These guys haven't been relevant in years. Only reason Deion's still relevant because Deion's a marketing genius. And he's always sold himself from day one, since college. He knew how to do that and stayed relevant in the Under Armour camps and all of that stuff and on NFL Network. But Peter Warrick ain't like that, and it's just the facts. It's just the facts. These guys don't know these guys. I know them. These kids, these 16, 17-year-old kids don't know these guys anymore. We want all the former players to coach at it, right? Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the question, but I think we just got to have a come to Jesus moment, man, and some legit realization that I know we like to spit these names out, but give me guys who are actually entrenched in this coaching thing. That's what I'm saying, Joe. Kids don't know these players that we grew up loving. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I was growing up. Man, I didn't know who Mean Joe Green was at the time. My love for football lets me know who Walter Payton is, but at the time, who the hell Walter Payton was? I knew who Barry Sanders was. We need Bobo Wilson as wide receiver. We need Corey Magnum. You guys tripping. Kalen Brooks. I remember Corey Magnum. Worst DB I've ever seen put on an FSU uniform. Yeah, they do know YouTube, but they're not going back and looking up Derek Brooks highlights on YouTube. You know? What's up, Jadon? Yo, squad, how old are you? 2017. JJ Constantino, QB coach, could do wonders. Hey, man, while we at it, hell. I mean, there you go, Tavares McFadden. Bro, why not? Why not? Let's get all of them. Let's get Drew Weatherford coaching quarterbacks. Let's get Anton Smith coaching our running backs. How about Willie Halstead coaching our receivers? Andrew Datko can coach the O-line. I mean, bump it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thanks, Pope, for that message. PW, he's not been a coach at any level that I know about. FSU has to go back to winning, and these teams in the ACC with these superior seniors like Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, that's a wrap. No squad, 13 years old. I mean, he said he became a diehard in 2017, so he got to be barely of drinking age. Which is not a knock, no squad. I'm just saying. Bring out the Oprah meme. Everybody gets a coach. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. I ain't got nothing else, and we went on 2 hours strong, so that's actually like 30 minutes longer than what I wanted to do. So another good conversation. This might be the last stream before the new year. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything while I'm in Florida. So this actually might be the last stream of 2021. Not even gonna lie to you. And the 2022, we hit the thing. We're going to hit the thing strong. No squad makes a little sense. Sean McGuire. Hey, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Let's get Wyatt. Let's get Sexton as a quarterback. Let's get y'all know it. I think that's where y'all at right now. Do a 2022 toast. Great live, Polk. Happy holiday. Hey, exactly. Same to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Again, this might be, don't quote me on it, but this might be the last one for 2021. And if it is, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Obviously, with Christmas coming up this weekend, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay safe this holiday season. It's like COVID is just back in full effect, so y'all stay safe out there. And even outside of that, like just, drink responsibly, all that good stuff, man. I'm not here to tell y'all how to be adults, but we've just found out today, we got a 13-year, no squad's like 13. So for any young brothers and sisters out there, be smart. No squad, do not drink. You're too young to drink, so you shouldn't be drinking this holiday season. If you do, make sure you have an adult present. And, if you're 18 or younger, have an adult present. If you're an old man like myself, you do what you pay. Like I like to say, do what your bank account can handle. But you guys, man, again, you don't get no squad. Don't get no girls pregnant. Like JoJo just said right here. No, that's not. That's less. Les says unblock me now, though. I don't know who. Oh, you're talking about no squad. I guess no squad block less. But don't get any girls pregnant. Don't fry bacon without a shirt. And just again, stay safe, man. Happy holidays from Pinky. And yeah, man. This was fun as always, man. Always have fun with you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. And hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And stay classy, Seminoles. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. And I don't know. You know me. I'm gonna be optimistic. You know, I think we're kind of in doomsday scenario right now, which and in a lot of ways I don't know why we are. You signed a good class. I think you're getting an infusion of talent, but I think everybody's just been so battered. We have PTSD. We don't know what to expect going forward, and we just are expecting the worst. But keep your head up, Seminoles. I think there's a light at the end of this tunnel. So keep your head up. Stay classy. And go Knowles, man. I will see y'all maybe not till next year. But if not, I will see y'all maybe in a week or so. You guys have a good night, though.